All right. Welcome, everybody. This is just a quick guide I'm going to make on Warcraft logs. I'm going to make it pretty simple, and if you have any questions or anything, definitely feel free to reach out to me, or Luke, or Rory in particular. The three of us are pretty knowledgeable on this, and so if you have any questions, reach out to us. So to start, I'm just going to show you real quick what, like, one of the best ways is that you can see what you're doing, see if you're doing it right. So let's pull up Warcraft logs here. And if you have a second monitor, I highly encourage you to follow along with me. So you're going to click on raids, and let's look at Rashok, for example. We're going to look at Rashok here. So if we go to rankings, in my case, I'm playing Disc Priest, but I'm going to let's pick something else. Let's pick Destruction Warlock. We'll use that as an example. So the first thing you want to do after you click on Rashok, so we're going to click on this raids, we're going to click on rankings for Rashok. And once we're here, we're going to make sure that our role is selected. So for healer, we're going to pick healing. If we're damage, we're going to pick damage. And then you're going to click here in this all classes section, and you're going to find whatever spec you are. So in this case, we're looking at Destruction Warlock. So we're going to click on here. So there's a number of things that you can do here. You can come here. One of the best things you can do is you can look at this breakdown. This is the top 100 parses for Destrolock, so we can look at the build. In certain circumstances, you might want to make some minor adjustments, but for the most part, these are the builds that you should be running, and any talents that you see as 100% are talents that you should pretty much take without question. Here you can see the trinkets that they're using, as well as the percentages. So what this means is like the percentage of people that are using these trinkets. And then you can see the same down here too. I don't know what these question marks are. I'm guessing that's rings, and this is necklace. Oh no, those are the embellishments. There you go. So not sure what he's running here, but he's definitely got lariat. So then what we're gonna do is you're going to find the first rank parse that isn't in a foreign language. Because when you click on these foreign language ones, all of the information is going to pop up in that language, and you want to be able to read it. So for Destrolock, we're going to pick the first person that has, normal characters here. So there's a couple things you can do in this breakdown that are really important. So you can click on the person themselves, and here we can see a nice breakdown of their abilities, their number of casts, how much damage each cast did, and the crit percentage. This is Chaos Bolt, so it's guaranteed to crit, so that's why it's 100. And the total damage per second that ability is contributing. And so usually what you want to do here is, for whatever class you are, you want to look at this and see, am I close to this? Like, let's say, for example, I'm playing Destrolock, and on my logs, Incinerate is far higher than Chaos Bolt. That would be a problem here because Chaos Bolt is our hardest hitting ability, and so Chaos Bolt is the ability that should be number one here. So that's number one, is you want to come in here, compare your breakdowns, and see where you're at with that. The next thing you can do is you can click on casts over here, and you can see a breakdown of the different casts that this person did as well. So although Chaos Bolt did more damage overall, they had more Incinerate casts. And so you want to try and emulate this as much as possible. And then in here, you also want to check your uptime on cooldowns. For example, this person casted Summon Infernal twice in a 5.5 minute Rashok fight. So if I don't have 2 casts, then I know that something is probably not going right. Finally, the most important thing you want to do, more than anything else that I've covered so far, is if you come up here to this blue bar, you can click the replay button. And so this is a very powerful tool that a lot of people don't know about with Warcraft logs. And what you can do is you can come in here, and it pops up like this little map of the boss room. And if we click play, we can see kind of the movement. So this flare looking thing here is the boss, and these are all the different players in the fight. And so we can use this for a couple of things. Primarily, for one, to start, we can use this to see positioning. If we watch the destruction lock over the course of the fight, we're noticing he's not really moving very much. And if we kind of speed it up a little bit, then yeah, he's not moving very much. And so we know that in this fight, at least up to this point so far, we might not want to be moving a ton. The second thing you can do, and probably the most important thing, and the reason why this tool is so powerful, is our guy is Taco Fajita. So let's click on him in these raid frames over here. And so now what we can do is we can click play, and we can actually watch him execute his rotation in real time. And this tool is incredibly powerful for understanding what we might be doing right or what we might be doing wrong. So, for context, this first box is the ability he just casted, and the second box is the ability that he casted second to last, so before this one. And the reason this is in some cases, some classes cast either very fast or use some off GCD abilities, and you want to make sure that you can see both. So we want to watch and take note of what this guy is casting and the order in which he's casting it. For example, one thing that we might notice just straight away is that he's not casting two Chaos Bolts back to back in pretty much any case. And so in this particular instance, I would want to pull up my own log, which we can do real quick. Let's go ahead and pause this. And let me pull up a log from our fights. So we can pull up this, and we can look at our Rashok kill. And let's pull up Scotty, for example. And so what I can do is I can look at this replay tool and cross-reference it with my own. And so we can click on replay here, and I can now watch what I did, in the case that I was Scotty. I can now watch what I did and see how it compares to the others. And so ultimately, what you want to do with this tool is just take some time and look at the top parsing people and understand how they're executing their rotation and how it might differ from yours. This is a pretty simple thing to do. Up to this point, I'm not sure if there's a way to actually pull up a list of every ability they casted in what order. So this is probably going to be your best way to do it. So if you want to write it down, you can. You don't necessarily have to, but it's if you're trying to see like a visual list of everything, then that might be something that you want to do. Otherwise, just coming in here and comparing what you're doing to what these people are doing is going to give you a lot of really helpful insight about how to play your class maybe better, or maybe some things that you wouldn't have thought of before. I know in my case, especially since I swapped to disc, watching these replays for the top few disc priests is immensely useful and has given me a lot of insight. The last final thing I'll say is Icy Veins and Wowhead are great tools for getting started. These class guides are pretty powerful, but they don't paint the whole picture. And as Mythic Raiders, we want to try and do as much as we can, and go beyond just what these guides say. And so while they'll give you an accurate picture, when you get to Mythic, sometimes fights change, and sometimes these guides are not 100% accurate. So in cases like these, this is a good starting point, but in order to really understand your class and understand what people are doing on the top parses, it's pretty essential to come in here and analyze your logs and understand, especially this replay tool. So that was just kind of like a quick rundown of that. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I always try to answer as fast as I can. And I always look forward to helping people as well. So never feel like you're a burden, or never feel like by telling me that you want some help with some of this stuff that's like an admission that you're not good enough, because I use this tool all the time, even for my stuff, and it's really helpful, and I think it'll help all of you as well. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video, and definitely reach out if you have any questions. But that's all I wanted to share, and I'll see you guys in the next raid.